The world is often a place where kindness is overlooked, where people are too busy chasing their own dreams to notice the struggles of others. But sometimes, in the most unexpected places, a single act of kindness can change everything. This is a story about a man who wore a disguise, a woman who saw through it, and the incredible journey that unfolded because of one simple, heartfelt gesture. It's a tale of truth, compassion, and the power of human connection. Let's begin. John Carter was a man of many faces. To the world, he was the CEO of one of the largest tech companies in the country, a man who had built an empire from scratch. But today, he wasn't John Carter, the powerful executive. Today, he was John Miller, a middle-aged man looking for a job. He wore a simple shirt, slightly wrinkled, and a pair of worn-out jeans. His hair was messy, and his face bore the stubble of someone who hadn't shaved in days. He carried a small, tattered bag with few essentials, and his eyes, though sharp, were filled with a quiet sadness. John had decided to go undercover. He wanted to see how his company truly operated from the ground up. He wanted to know if the values he had instilled in his business were being upheld, or they had been lost in the pursuit of profit. He had chosen one of his smaller branches, a place where he could observe without being recognized. He walked into the office building, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The reception area was small but tidy. A young woman sat behind the desk, her eyes focused on her computer screen. She had a warm smile, and her presence seemed to light up the room. Her name tag read Emily. John approached the desk, his voice hesitant. "Hi, I'm here for the janitorial position. I was told to come in for an interview." Emily looked up, her smile widening. "Of course. Please have a seat. I'll let Mr. Thompson know you're here." John nodded and sat down, his eyes scanning the room. He noticed the small details, the way the plants were neatly arranged, the cleanliness of the floor, the friendly atmosphere. It was a stark contrast to the cold, corporate environment he was used to. As he waited, he couldn't help but notice how Emily interacted with everyone who walked in. She greeted each person with the same warmth, offering a kind word or a helping hand. She seemed to genuinely care about the people around her, and it was clear that she was the heart of the office. Finally, Mr. Thompson arrived. He was a tall, stern-looking man with a no-nonsense attitude. He barely glanced at John as he led him to a small room for the interview. The interview was brief and to the point. Mr. Thompson asked a few questions, but it was clear that he wasn't interested in John's answers. He seemed more concerned with getting the interview over with than with finding the right person for the job. When the interview ended, John felt a sense of disappointment. He had hoped to see more of the company's values in action, but so far, he had only seen indifference. As he walked back to the reception area, he noticed Emily again. She was on the phone, her voice soft and reassuring. When she hung up, she looked at John and smiled. "How did it go?" she asked. John shrugged. "I'm not sure." Mr. Thompson didn't seem very interested. Emily's smile faded, and she looked genuinely concerned. "I'm sorry to hear that. Don't worry, though. Sometimes it takes a while to find the right fit. If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know." John was taken aback by her kindness. In a world where people often looked out for themselves, Emily's selflessness was a rare and beautiful thing. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "That means a lot." Emily nodded, her smile returning. "Of course. We're all in this together, right?" John left the office that day with a lot on his mind. He had seen both the good and the bad, but it was Emily's kindness that stayed with him. He knew that she was someone special, someone who truly embodied the values he wanted his company to uphold. Over the next few weeks, John continued to work undercover at the office. He took on the role of a janitor, cleaning the floors, emptying the trash, and doing whatever needed to be done. It was hard work, but it gave him a chance to observe the company from a different perspective. He noticed that while some employees were friendly and hardworking, others were lazy and indifferent. Mr. Thompson, in particular, seemed to care more about appearances than about the well-being of his team. He would often berate employees for small mistakes, and he rarely took the time to listen to their concerns. But through it all, Emily remained a beacon of light. She was always there to offer a kind word or a helping hand. She treated everyone with respect, from the janitors to the executives, and it was clear that she was loved by all, One day, as John was cleaning the break room, he overheard a conversation between Emily and one of her co-workers. "I don't know how you do it, Emily," the co-worker said. "You're always so positive, even when things are tough." Emily smiled. "I just try to remember that everyone is fighting their own battles. If I can make someone's day a little brighter, then it's worth it." John felt a lump in his throat as he listened to her words. He had never met anyone like Emily before, and he knew that she was someone who truly deserved to be recognized. But as the days went by, John began to notice something else. Emily seemed to be struggling. She would often stay late at work, and there were dark circles under her eyes. She was still as kind as ever, but there was a sadness in her eyes that hadn't been there before. One evening, as John was finishing up his work, he saw Emily sitting alone in the reception area. She was staring at her computer screen, but her mind seemed to be somewhere else. John approached her cautiously. "Emily, are you okay?" She looked up, startled. "Oh, John, I didn't see you there. I'm fine, just tired." John sat down next to her. "You've been working so hard. Is there anything I can do to help?" Emily hesitated, then sighed. "It's just my mom is sick. She's been in the hospital for a while now, and the medical bills are piling up. I've been trying to pick up extra shifts, but it's still not enough." John felt a pang of guilt. He had been so focused on his own mission that he hadn't realized what Emily was going through. He knew that he had to do something to help her. "Emily, I think there's something you should know," he said, his voice trembling. Emily looked at him, confused. "What is it?" John took a deep breath. "I'm not who you think I am. My real name is John Carter. I'm the CEO of this company." Emily's eyes widened in shock. "What? But why are you working as a janitor?" John explained everything. How he wanted to see the company from the ground up, how he had been disappointed by what he'd seen, and how Emily's kindness had inspired him. "You're the heart of this company, Emily," he said. "You're the one who truly embodies the values that I want us to uphold, and I want to help you. Let me take care of your mom's medical bills. It's the least I can do." Tears filled Emily's eyes as she listened to his words. I don't know what to say. Thank you, John. Thank you so much." John smiled, his own eyes filling with tears. "No, Emily. Thank you. You've shown me what it means to be truly kind, and I'll never forget that." The next day, John called a meeting with all the employees at the branch. He revealed his true identity and shared his experience of working undercover. He talked about the importance of kindness, compassion, and teamwork, and he announced that Emily would be promoted to a new position, Chief Culture Officer, responsible for ensuring that the company's values were upheld at every level. The employees were shocked but inspired by John's words. They realized that they had been given a second chance to make a difference, and they were determined to make the most of it. As for Emily, she was overwhelmed by the support she received. With John's help, her mom's medical bills were taken care of, and she was able to focus on her new role with a renewed sense of purpose. Over time, the branch became a model for the rest of the company. Employees worked together with a sense of camaraderie and respect, and the office became a place where people felt valued and appreciated. John and Emily remained close friends, and their bond only grew stronger as they worked together to create a better future for the company. They knew that they had been given a rare opportunity to make a difference, and they were determined to make the most of it. Years later, as John stood on the stage at the company's annual conference, he looked out at the sea of faces before him. He saw employees who were proud to be part of something bigger than themselves, who believed in the values that the company stood for. And as he spoke, his voice filled with emotion, he knew that none of it would have been possible without Emily. She had been the spark that had ignited the change, the one who had shown him what it truly meant to be kind. "In life, we often get caught up in our own struggles," John said, his voice trembling. "But it's the small acts of kindness that can change everything. It's the people who take the time to care, who make the world a better place. And I'm so grateful to have met someone who embodies that spirit. Emily, thank you for showing us the way." As the audience erupted into applause, Emily stood up, tears streaming down her face. She knew that her life had been changed forever, not just by John's generosity, but by the power of kindness. And as she looked out at the crowd, she knew that she had found her purpose. She was here to make a difference, to spread kindness wherever she went, and to remind people that no matter how tough life gets, there's always hope. Because sometimes all it takes is one kind person to change the world.